two kids from Queens, cut from a different cloth. Now joining forces, helping you to elevate your personal brand. Yeah, I'm talking about Nicky and Moose, bringing you a never before seen perspective into the mindset, the mentality, the behaviors, the driving force, but more importantly, the stories behind the people and brands that you know and love the most.
Was poppin'. Welcome to Nicky and Moose. I'm Nicky. That's Moose. What's up, Moose?
What up, y'all?
And this is the YouTube live. See?
Live experience.
Wait, I ain't even get the right one right. I got the Pop Smoke. Shout out to Pop. Did you know he is number one for the longest like hip hop charts thing? Did you know that?
I didn't.
Yeah.
Wow.
Super dope. But let me get my air horns. Let me get my air horns. I did Pop Smoke. They knew I was loving Pop Smoke.
Programming.
Yeah. Hold on. Let me get the. Okay, we start early. Intro is too fire. You know. Shout out to Black Pearl's World. I see you. Moose, how are we feeling?
I'm really good. I'm doing exceptionally well. The weather's been great, and I'm trying to contain myself. I know people are saying, "Yo, COVID is over," but I'm like, let me not be the trial run. I'm gonna stay disciplined.
Let me not be the trial.
I'm gonna stay disciplined. I'm gonna continue to do the right thing, and then we'll see what happens from there.
I see you. That's on purpose. I see you. Look.
What's going on with you? How you feeling?
I'm chilling. So let me get my energy right. I got my computer back. Get me? I got my computer back. I'm super happy about this. So we back in business. I don't know how this whole setup's going to work so far, but we are here. We're moving. Episode 25 is out. I'm excited about that. Man, what did we talk about again? Kanye, Khaled. LeBron, and a bit of Mav Carter. Wait, Mav Carter. Like, I can't even. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Mav Carter, yep.
But how did you feel about the episode? Come on, let's talk. Let's talk about the episode.
I mentioned it. I got two of my, favorite concepts in there: baseball and ownership. So that's always a great time, man. I don't think we really discussed baseball like that on anything related to the show or the podcast since we started. So yeah, no, that was fun to dive into that and just talk a little baseball, man. That was a lot of fun.
I know nothing about baseball. I just know it's very, very long. It's a very long, like you don't really like. Okay, so here's my question, real quick, random, right? Mm-hmm. Do you watch like regular season or do you wait for the playoffs?
Oh, I'm a playoffs guy. Yeah. When I was younger, I was like every single game, every single night. But I was still playing the sport. Of course, I had reason to be that deep into it. But now I'm just like, nah, it's playoffs for me. It's the playoffs for me.
That takes time. That takes shout out to everybody who watches baseball in any kind of sport, but shout out to y'all. But we got some topics today. Moose has been super in charge of what we're going to be talking about on these lives. So shout out to you. Let's do hand clap. You've been doing great on these topics. I'm not even gonna lie. But we're talking about trends today. So Moose, start this off. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I think once in a while it's good to definitely catch up. Now, the crazy thing is you always want to be on top of new trends or, what's impacting your business or what's going on out there so that you can make adjustments as needed and stay innovative the whole nine. But I think now more than ever, that cycle is getting shorter. So if you were doing that once a year, twice a year, because of rapid change that's currently happening just with the economy, with the world, with everything, you got to have that conversation a little bit more often. My recommendation, it seems like if you really want to be on your game and you can afford to do it, you got the manpower, you got the time, or you can make the time, every 60 days, every 2 months is a good time to kind of revisit and say, okay, what's happened since we last met? Have there been any radical changes, to just anything, policy, economics, the world, that can impact what we do, so we can visit that dialogue? For others, you might do it once a quarter, but I think definitely, regardless of what side of the spectrum you fall onto, it's good that you have those conversations regularly. Now, the dope thing about today's episode or today's show is that, of course, Nicky's going to handle the social and the branding side of it. And I'm going to be able to touch on a few of the business trends that I'm seeing out there as well. Things that we're doing, things that we've dealt with, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So we'll be able to do both. But real quick, man, I see we have a good amount of people with us in the chat. Shout out to Kat, Felicia, Corey. What's up to you all? But do me a favor, put in the chat real quick, if you are in a growth stage or if you are in a retention stage. Like, what side? If you were to kind of take inventory of your personal brand, your business, your service, your product, whatever it is, are you in a growth stage, meaning you're like, man, I need to grow, I need more, I need more, I need more? Or are you in that part where you're like, hey, growth is good, everybody wants growth all the time? But truth be told, very few people can both do growth and retain. So let me know, what side of it do you fall on? Because there is a few different things that we can speak on. And of course, I want to make sure we deliver on the pieces that make the most sense. So yeah, let's get it.
Jaleesa's in the building. I love her so much. There's certain people I just really love. She's one of them.
I think I saw Jalisa on Clubhouse, I believe. So.
Oh, she a Clubhouse superstar. I just want to be like her when I grow up. You know what I mean? I just want to be like her when I grow up. We got growth. Chris says growth. I'm with that.
Okay.
Kat says I'm in the growth phase. So we talking about growth? That's what we talking about?
That's cool. Yeah, let's do the growth concept.
All right, let's do that. Look, Andre said I am definitely in the growth stage. So Moose, I want you to start it off with the business side. We always go super heavy on the branding and social media side, and you made me do a whole interview last week. So
that was fun. That's fun. That was fun. I had a night off.
You were like,
night off.
So expand on this.
We'll talk to you about this real quick.
Right, let's expand on that. No, hold on. Don't go too fast.
Right.
Say that a little bit more.
A.
Actually,
A.
But what do you really think about that? I'm gonna pull.
Indeed. No, we'll flip the switch on it today.
With it. No, so Moose, give me a trend. Give me a business trend.
Yeah. No, the first one, man, and this is more than ever, is so important. And I, even if you think you're doing this, even if you've heard this before, I highly encourage you all to go back and revisit and say, okay, how are we communicating that? Right? And it's this concept of, is your offer, is your value purposeful and meaningful? Right? From a business standpoint, is your offer, is the value that you're bringing to the table, is it purposeful and meaningful? Today's world, more than ever, people care to support brands that are contributing to things that they like. People like to support brands and businesses that they know are doing something good in the world. Now, you might say, well, how does that impact growth? Well, it actually helps you on both sides. From one part of it, you can stimulate sales, or you can attract more people to rock with you. But the back end of it too, with growth, means that you have to hire more people. You have to bring more people on board. A lot of the people working or entering the workforce, or the type of talent that you're trying to recruit that can really help you expand a personal brand or something that is predominantly digital right now, because I think everyone with the scare of COVID is like, yo, I don't know if I want a physical location. I don't know if I want, that type of overhead. They're still preparing for that. Some people have been brave enough to say, you know what? No, let's keep the doors. We're going to continue to expand as they are. But other people are really paying attention to their digital streams just as much as, or not as much as, the physical side of things. So with that being said, at the same time, the talent that you're looking to help you grow your business, they too want to work with or be a part of a brand that is contributing to a purposeful and meaningful cause. So I literally just did it today. And, you know, and I have been kind of looking at just from some of my personal missions and just what I deliver, even if I'm not going to run out there and scream at everyone to let them know what I do, for myself, I want to make sure that I can explain it properly. Whenever in an interview or any sort of question, I want to make sure that I can talk about what I do in a meaningful way, very like in one phrase, one sentence. Mm-hmm. So I'm working with someone, and today we were talking about, well, what is that phrase? And I was like, well, you know, for as long as I can remember, one of the things that I've always said as my purpose or mission was to unite people of diverse backgrounds. Mm-hmm. And even I, Nicky, had to step back today and say, truth be told, from a growth standpoint, that's not meaningful or impactful enough. Because you think about it, I'm uniting people of diverse backgrounds to do what? What is the true impact? What is the true mission that we're driving?
Right.
So I was like, all right, well, let's think about what are we going to do? Like, what's the change that we're going to bring about? So it might call for you to dig a little bit deeper into your mission or your purpose statement to really think about, is there something that we're bringing to the marketplace that we may have not really realized before? Mm-hmm. Or is there a deeper impact that we're making that we're not aware enough or we're aware about because we haven't asked enough questions or followed our impact all the way through? So literally the first one today from a trend standpoint, just for businesses, especially those who want to grow, you got to start there, right? That tagline, that big phrase, is it purposeful and meaningful? And pull yourself, stretch yourself to really think through some of those different phases, right? How are you bringing purpose? You don't want it just to sound good, you know, or sound catchy, but really it can have a measurable part of it as well. So yeah, I would say that first thing, man, is definitely focusing on that purposeful and meaningful business.
Shout out to Isaiah. I see you with the super chat. Okay, so devil's advocate, right?
Yes.
What if I'm just here for the money? Is that purpose? Is that, you know, is that meaningful? Like money's meaningful for not I'm being devil's advocate. Money does not mean anything to me. Don't be like, Nicky's money hungry and she's greedy. No, that's not true. It's not true. Okay? All right? Mm-mm.
No, I mean, look, I believe money's important. I do believe, and shout out to Josh Hatch, because there's a lot of business that I've learned from Josh. And although we haven't seen him in forever, you know, his talk is always in the back of my mind. But Josh has always taught us that, you know, sales is the lifeline of a business. Mm-hmm. So without cash, without revenue, you're not in business. I don't know what you're in, but it ain't business. So you got to be generating some source of sales and revenue. Now, granted, I do see Erica Ford is on with us. So that nonprofit sector, of course, it's a different concept. So just so that for context sake, I'm at least covering that end. So money's important. I'm not saying that. But you also see that some of the most wealthiest people on the planet, they tell you that money is a byproduct of excellence, not a goal.
First of all, you're not going to speed past that like you didn't just say what you just said.
Yeah. So it's always one of the mindset shifts or the perspectives that we really got to address. And it's like, yo, we're not trying to downplay money. We're not saying money is bad or you shouldn't be in it to make money. Of course, all of that is important.
Right.
But especially if you're in a startup phase and you're looking to seek growth, seeking money, unfortunately, for those in that phase, it just comes off as desperation and money hunger and not a true opportunity to add value. And again, even if you've heard it before, I'm forcing people, or at least challenging you all, to circle back on some of these concepts and say, man, how can I really, 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 again, show how what I do is purposeful and meaningful. And the money will come as a byproduct of the exchange.
But how do you get people to really, I guess, understand that? Because when you think about it, like, people start businesses for multiple reasons, right? But I think a lot of people go astray because some go with that money involved. Like, yo, if I want to make over 6 figures, I have to have a business. And so I'm going to go with this route because this is where the money is. And, or, you know, they do trends for the money. They'll do this particular lane because this is making the most at this time. It's like the same thing. And y'all know I'm very passionate about it right now. Same thing why people are jumping on NFTs, because that's where the money is right now. So they're taking pictures of the most random things and they're putting it up and calling it an NFT. So, and jumping into crypto, and I get it. So how do we kind of make sure that people go in with purpose instead of the flashy things that we're always seeing?
Yeah. Well, maybe this will be a more fulfilling answer. That individual, whoever that company, team, brand, or organization is, you just need to ask yourself, am I trying to be in this for a season or am I trying to be in this forever? All right. Because here's why. I remember, man, a group of my friends, and I wasn't a part of that. I was still in college, and I wish I was a part of it to learn more, but I remember watching what they did and seeing where the mistake went, right? They were a part of, like, they were one of the first people to get on Amazon, you know, like the Amazon fulfillment center or that. I don't know what the business model is called exactly, but they were able to strike gold by finding manufacturers in China that can design cell phone cases, right? And when cell phone cases were being sold, you know, $40, $50 in stores, they were able to sell them on Amazon for $10 and $20. Now, the crazy thing is, because they were ordering in bulk, much of what they were paying for each item was less than 50 cents. And that's with shipping and everything included. So you think about it. I'm able to sell hundreds of products and my profit margin is, you know, $10, $15, all digital. Like, this is before much of the digital realm had really kicked off. Like I said, I'm talking about 2013, 2014. Right. They were doing really, really well with their basic samples. Here's what they did wrong, Nikki. They started now jumping into the counterfeit items, right? So they found Tory Burch and all of these different designers. Now, time after time, from time to time, they would start getting, you know, some sort of like feedback, whether the customer writes a complaint or whatever it is, like, oh, this is a counterfeit item. Yeah. This is a counterfeit item. And they went from, I think they were hitting that 6-figure mark. They hit it like 6 months into the business. They couldn't make it out of their first year before their account was completely shut down. Do you want to make money quick, fast, in a hurry for a season? Or do you want to play the long term with this? So, you know, that's just one of those examples that I think of when it's like, yeah, it's easy to go for the kill right now. And you can make a killing and just call it a day. But at the same time, those who remember, those who we idolize, those who we give the most credit to, we know them because they've been, you know, in business for years, right? Decades, some companies even 100 years back. So I think you got to just pick, man, is this something that you're doing for a season? I talked about it a couple of days ago. My first official company I started was called The Dream Supply, and it was a money move for me. I'll be honest. That move was a money move. Where I'm at now, it's not. So it could be, you know, something you use to fund your dream. And if that's the case, then sure, go ahead, just drive revenue and do what you need to do. But at some point, you got to jump on the other side if you really want to be fulfilled, you want to do it forever, that kind of thing.
So my question is, if it's like a money, like quick kind of situation, or you're only going for the driving force of money, is that really a business, or is that or are you hustling?
Yeah.
I mean, like with yours, if you're saying, yo, that was really for the money, was that more because you're chasing it? So that's instantly, you're always hustling all the time. Yeah, okay, you may have an LLC, but that doesn't necessarily make it a business just because you have that, right? Is there is it safe to say that a business, like a successful business that we want to grow is more for a longevity kind of vibe instead of that short term, because I've seen a lot of things come and go when they are chasing the money and they say this is, whether it's an agency or whatever, but they're gone. Yeah. So did you just put an official name to a hustle?
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. I think the best businesses to be a part of are the ones that you can step out of the sales rat race, and your process or your system allows you to like one bucket fills the other, right? So like over time, you're doing growth and retention at the same time. You know, you're not having to keep that, like you said, hustle mentality just to grow or keep your money coming in. So that is best case scenario. Very few people are able to accomplish it. And I hate to sound like a pessimist, but that's just the reality of the situation. So many get distracted and run into that money now scenario that they overlook the key transition to say, okay, well, how do we grow and sustain at the same time? How do we make that shift now? Or maybe even do it the other way around and allow our like kind of sustainability approach to help our growth. And in some cases that's also possible.
That's facts. So Dre said, but if you, nope. Hold on. That wasn't his first one. This one. How to retain, I would love the longevity, but how to retain it with those returning customers.
Yeah. And this is actually where I wanted you to kind of jump in too, because I think it was a post that you shared, and you talked about, you know, ask what your audience wants to, want you to create, or what type of content they're looking for. And then someone commented and said, what if I ask and they don't respond, or they're not responding? Right. And I was thinking, and I was like, I think that the challenge for that, because we did it yesterday and we got a lot of feedback.
Yeah.
But the difference is we didn't ask our audience, we asked our community.
Right.
And I think if you're asking an audience, and let me know if you agree with this, if you're asking a group of people who are not responding to you, then they feel more, they haven't felt like they're a part of your community just yet.
Right.
Where they feel like, man, if I want to say something,
Safe
if
zone.
I say something, it's going to be meaningful and well received, that kind of thing. I don't know if you agree with that. Am I on the right page with that, or what are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, no. There is a difference between asking your audience and asking your tribe, right? Especially in the beginning. Like, I think we get discouraged putting something out there and not get the response that we want, and we haven't grown our true tribe yet to get that response, right? So our response is not necessarily going to be from people. Our response is going to be from data. So the more you put your stuff out there, whether it's on social media, whether it is, promoting your website, ads, things like that, you're collecting data to see what works, what doesn't, right? How do they respond? How do they don't? Like, you have to go off the stats in the very beginning. Now, once those stats start to grow, you're going to see certain people come back, and then they'll respond a little bit more, where now you're starting to grow a tribe, and you can have that community to where you're like, all right, so I want to make sure this is for you. Let me know and tell me if I'm going the right direction, because I want to continue to have you here for as long as you can, right? But I want to stay with why you followed me. Was it curiosity? Was it because I did a particular thing? Have I derailed from that? Have I picked up from that? What is that? And you can ask that more once your data starts converting into a community. But before it hits a community, you get that information from pure data.
That's a major, just because we had Khaled on the podcast, major killer right there. That's fire.
Another one.
Yo, that's fire. Think about it, because I think like
I speak his language. That's why I said data, and he's like, yo, that's fire. Yeah. That is amazing.
That is it. That's so good though. It's true, because it's like that's a real situation. You asked your audience and they didn't respond. Fair. but your audience isn't like the response isn't going to be through words. It's the data that you need to track. Yeah. And then once you convert the audience into a tribe, then the tribe starts to tell you what you want. So that's exactly, to that question. And Andrea, I believe it was you who asked it. That's how you start going from, okay, I attracted you quickly. Now I want to retain you. So what is that piece that's going to make me take people from being just a part of my audience to actually wanting to be a part of my tribe, that I'm checking in with you every day? And I think, it's dope how you do it, Nix, because like literally I noticed there's a core group of people who are with you on your lives every single night. Like literally it seems like everything that you do, there they are, right? So yeah, no, that's dope.
Dre got another one. Dre says, seems more like hustling if it's a quick come up, but if you hit a niche that brings in cash, how long should you write it?
That's that first off, is it safe? Is it legal? Let me say that.
I want to say it's safe to say that majority, I would say 90% of the people who are watching, regardless if that's live or replay, are in the legal system. No shade to the illegal. Just don't make yourself known. This is recorded. Depending on what it is, I may support it. I may not. I don't know, but it's recorded. So for recording purposes, I just don't want to know, and I don't support it. And please live in the right side of the track. I'm just saying.
For real. But yeah.
How long should they write it? I don't want to go too quick.
I don't know that I have a great answer for that, to be honest with you. I mean, there's so many factors that play into that, right? It depends on what product or service it is. It depends on your style and what you're looking for. So like you might hit, like you said, a unique niche, and it's a cash cow. That's what they would call it. It's a cash cow, but you're a big stabilizer. You're a retention type of person. Then you're constantly going to be in worry, and you might pull it back too soon or whatever the case is. If that's you, then you might want to actually start making adjustments and say, okay, how can I, slow it down? But like you said, transfer some of those people into my tribe and really stabilize before I miss out on my opportunity. You might be on the other flip side of it. Like I'm gonna kill it until the engine blows up. Then we'll worry about fixing all the rest later. If that's your style, then you might want to go with that. So, it really does depend on how you flow and what's best for you.
Facts. Shout out to Organic Blackberry with the super chat. We see you and we appreciate you. You know what I mean?
I thought that was like the iPhone user. Like how on Zoom it says iPhone. I'm like, oh, is that it? They're using a BlackBerry?
No, who still uses a BlackBerry, Moose?
Hey, what if she actually has a BlackBerry? That would be interesting.
No one has that. No one has that. You know what they need to bring? No, that's not a vibe. It's not a vibe.
It used to be fun. You remember BlackBerry? Was it like they had like their unique kind of like messenger? What was it called?
I don't remember. I didn't have one.
BBM, I think it was something like that. BlackBerry Messenger.
Wow. I didn't have one. I had a sidekick. Shout out to everybody who had a sidekick. The sidekick were fire. Listen, sidekick and Nextel. That's all I was about. Sidekick and Nextel. That's my thing. And I had the very first texting phone kind of thing. It was like this big T-Mobile joint. It was blue. I remember. Shout out to my mom who's watching it, who bought that for me. Or I don't know if I bought it. You probably bought it. You normally buy everything. But only child syndrome. I get it. But it like flipped out, had an antenna and everything like that. And I was texting and calling people. It was like, look at, I can do this all. And everybody has this kind of phone. But anyways, see, okay, I see you, sidekick gang. That's what. Look at that. See, I'm with that. And shout out to Erica with the super. Oh, she got a super sticker. I'm with that super sticker. Love it.
That's what's up. Appreciate you, Erica, as always.
Yeah, Erica's super dope. If y'all not following Erica on all social media channels, Erica, drop your social media handles real quick. She's super dope. She's doing amazing things for the community. Amazing things.
Too.
Yeah, I mean,
Repping for the ball.
Yeah, I mean. Okay, so we talked about purpose and everything like that. You want to go with another one, or I go? What we doing?
No, take it away on the social side.
Okay. So I've been really heavy on this one. Shout out to people on Clubhouse who heard this, but there's a lot of people who haven't, because I'm not really active on Clubhouse as I used to. But there's this one trend that I really wanted to touch on about social media, because I think we get very, clouded with everything happening, right? We're out here doing the dances, we're out here doing the skits, we're out here just trying to do the memes, everything like that. And sometimes we have to really bring it back to the basics, that the number one trend that is always going to happen every single year is the trend of being yourself, right? And sometimes we lose sight of that because we're chasing trends. But the ones that work the best is when you're just really you, because we come here for you. We go on your profile for you and your brand and your business, and we're not really here for you to do all the little funny stuff that's out there. Now, granted, if you are funny, please be funny. You know what I mean? Be funny. If you're not funny, if you can't dance, leave it alone. Just like there's, and it's so bad because there's certain people who just try too hard, and you can see it, and it's very uncomfortable. Like, we disconnect from you. Shout out to Donovan, I see you. 24. Okay, that was a random number. 24. I'm with it. But you see how uncomfortable it is because you're trying to be somebody you're not. You're trying to do the things to stay relevant, but you haven't even mastered the main trend, which is why we come to you, which is you. And so the reason why I say this is because there are certain features on certain majority of platforms, but majority of platforms have these little features, and it's within the features that you're going to really find something that is going to allow you to be yourself, right? If we're going to use an example, I always use me as an example. Reels is my thing. Instagram Reels is that, and IG Lives, right? Totally my thing. Why? Because it allows me to be me. I feel as if maybe the feed post, sometimes you have to be a little bit polished. You could be a bit transparent and everything like that. But with Reels and IG Lives, right? And any kind of lives, even YouTube Live, like, right, you get to see our personality. You get to see whether we're serious, whether we're in a joking style, whether we, are just don't know what we're talking about. Like, you can't play like you know something on live. Like, the realness is going to come out somehow, some way. And that's how your audience, first off, connects with you to see, oh, you're a real person and you really know what you're talking about. And two, I kind of like your style. I kind of vibe with you. I connect with you in all kind of way. Now, for me with Reels, right, I get to be silly. I'm low key silly, right? And so the little skits and the songs and everything like that, as long as I make it into a lesson based off what I talk about, it does numbers, because I'm not going off brand. Some people go too much off brand. They're out here doing all these craziness, and it has nothing to do with their brand. So I'm out here doing a little bop here and there, but I'm making it into a lesson about content or social media or branding, right? So I had to first master me really putting myself out there, me being me. Before I was really just like, okay, all y'all gonna hear about is content, and I was really in my pilot at a point, right, with my content. I was really just, okay, you're gonna get this is what it is, here's the information, boom, high five, come follow me tomorrow. But once I started being a little bit more of me and making people laugh, because that's what I love to do, it started working. Really, like yesterday, I dropped a reel. In an hour, it hit like 102,000 views of just me, something that took 5 minutes. This is the major thing about this, is when you are you, it doesn't take long to do. It really doesn't. It takes 2.3 seconds to act like yourself. And because that's all you know how to do. The reason why it takes longer for you to create is because you're trying to tap into something that you're not, or something that you think people want to see from you. So when you put out content that's more of you, it flows better. It's easier. It's actually low-key fun. And it doesn't bother you. But we put too much emphasis on, okay, what do they want to see from me? What can I do? What is, like, how do I make this work? Everybody has this whole situation of their lives and their posts, and they're hitting thousands of views and mine is only hitting 200. Celebrate the 200. What's the problem? There's people who are not posting. There's people who are honestly doing all these trends and still hitting 50 likes, 100 views. When you are putting stuff out and you're getting 200, 300, celebrate that. I don't know. That's just me. I don't know. What do you think? I don't know.
No, that's major. I'm literally going into our Twitter drafts to put that in there too. Who wrote it? When you are you, it doesn't take long to do. That's dope. That's so real. Let me put that in there real quick. Say something cool while I write that.
Say something cool. Donovan says, Nikki pushed me to take my personal photography brand more seriously, even though I don't post as much as I would want to. I see you, Donovan. I do. I got heavy on reels after watching you on your lives, Nikki. Oh, appreciate that. I try to be transparent as much to show who Dre is, but is it wrong to feel if you're not making connections being yourself? Then you don't have the right audience. That's my thing. There's an audience for everybody. So if you're not making connections, you being you with your current audience, you attracted the wrong one. So that means two things. That means, one, you did something prior to you being yourself and you attracted that audience, and now that you're putting out the real you, they're like, hold on, this is not why I followed you. This is not why I followed you. And you're going to lose people. And that's fine, because you have to attract the right people, right? Or two, you went super trendy with your hashtags and you just collected a lot of people that had nothing to do with your brand. That's one of the things I would say. But you good, Moose? You wrote it?
Yeah, I got it in our Twitter drafts. Yep, coming out. I had to put that down. I'm like, yo, let me add that in there real quick.
He's like, yeah. Okay, Tag, you're it.
Yeah, no, and here's something again from a growth standpoint that we did recently. I'll tell you what we did and what it is, and then I'll tell you what others are doing too, that I think, in a way, it happened to us. We feel a little funny about this, and I think you know what I'm talking about. We got to set offers up for it, whatever it is. But it's a new trend. It's the second time it's happened. I've actually seen another company do the same exact thing.
I'm so lost.
Anyway, you'll catch on to it as I tell you more context. I just don't want to blow people's up.
Help me!
don't want to blow people's spot up on the live.
Oh man, see, then that's good that I don't know, because I would.
Yeah. No, but the second one, man, is and this is, it really requires some level of innovation. Is you got to change your offers. Everyone is changing their offers, and here are some examples, right? For people who are product based or still have physical assets or physical locations, think of the hospitality industry for an example. I had a business in the hospitality industry that was wiped out during COVID, right? The way we were positioned, we relied on somebody else, right? We relied on an event space to book the business and carry out much of the details so that we can actually have a function to service. There are other restaurants who just weren't in a position to transfer the way they do business to take out only to cater to the COVID restrictions. So they had no option but to just shut down. And then lastly, there were others who got absolutely murdered because they were taken advantage of on the back end through third-party fees. So whether that be like Uber Eats, wherever you would order, Grubhub, all of these different things, they were killing some of the restaurants with their fees. And there were people, again, just last minute adjustments. They couldn't really get themselves in order to put themselves in a position where they can adjust, change their offer, change how they do business to survive. All right. So that's an example of people with a physical location. The one that sticks out to most, like I said, for me, is the hospitality industry. I was in it for quite some time, and it's one that many of us can relate with, right? Many of us were ordering food throughout the pandemic or quarantine, and you can kind of relate with that. Some of your favorite restaurants may have not been able to have like any sort of online ordering, and you're like, damn, like even that bit of inconvenience would make you go through an alternative route, especially if a Uber Eats or a Grubhub is offering you some form of discount code, right? Like it's things like that we may not think about as a consumer or as someone who is just going about their normal life, ordering something as simple as food that wipes out businesses because small businesses on the front end couldn't make those adjustments. So that's something that's super critical that we got to consider. On the other end of it, for people who are service-based businesses, for us, we changed our offers to give people more flexibility and not tie them into a schedule. So the one that sticks out the most, and we did this on both of our main revenue generators. The first one was we created a video series instead of having everyone who completed the flight assessment to have to show up live on the session with a coach.
Right.
Like some people weren't necessarily feeling that. Like, what if I couldn't make it? Or what if I missed my appointment and I had to reschedule and then I couldn't, I had a hard time or I forgot. And these are things that happen literally every single day. But that messes up your customer experience and people aren't as into, right, your product, or they don't follow along the journey of what could potentially be your next step.
Right. But
the minute that you can automate, and this is why I say it's a balance of the two, automate and changing your offers. We had to catch on to that and say, okay, behaviors are changing. People aren't necessarily tied to showing up and being on a call with someone live. Some people want to do it completely on their own. Mm-hmm. The other side of it, even with our certification program or our training program, we created literally an entire self-paced certification model. So you can go and get well over, I want to say close to 50 hours of training and not once have to speak to somebody. It's possible, right? So we may have enjoyed the live experience. It's a lot of fun for us. We absolutely love it. But just people weren't necessarily tied to that experience. And the numbers ended up showing it, Nicky. I don't know if there's some that, you want to speak to that, from your end as well, because you're just as involved in it. But, the numbers showed when we gave that option to people, there was the sales were pretty much, almost even out, meaning that people were still just as interested in that self-paced automated option, just as they were with the live, but we didn't miss out on that because all three of our options were pretty much the same. It was like a little bit of live, some live or medium live, and a lot of live. It's right. Like you had to be live. Now it's like, go on your own, do it exactly, how you want to do it. You could pause, you could go back, you could do whatever you want. And that adjustment for us was a big game changer. So, anybody out there, just whatever now on either side, start thinking about, man, what are some adjustments that I can make to the value that I deliver, whether that be in a way that I automate my process, the way that I communicate and deliver my services or my products. There's got to be something that I do to shift, and always don't be afraid to test. I know that's something that we love to do as well. Just test it before you go all in if you're concerned if it's not going to hit.
Before I go in, I wanted to address this question that came to you. You say change your offers. Can a person completely change items offered due to the change of upcoming season?
If you can give some more context, I would love that. If it's a hypothetical example, I'll run with your hypothetical. But if that's actually your business, give us the details on that. I'd love to go all in and really break that down, because it depends. If you're talking hypotheticals, that's a best case scenario where I'm going to say, well, what numbers did you do last season, so you can see what items were fan favorites or customer favorites, so you can still position those as like your must-haves every season. And then you have your items where you're building out, on some of these strategies that are talked about, whether it be FOMO, the fear of missing out, or like just the exclusivity, and say, this is a seasonal product. The one that comes to mind, this is something that we all drink. I'm a big consumer of it. I love coffee, but pumpkin spice is only available for like 3 or 4 months out of the year. All right. It's rare that you'll find pumpkin spice as a flavor that's offered at your Starbucks or 7-Eleven or whatever it is, in the middle of June. Mm-hmm. So some things, yes, you're going to keep, and they're like, man, these are the fan favorites. They stay every single day all year. But then there are other things that you're like, I know these are in demand, but I'm intentionally going to align them with the CZ. I went to France real quick.
What?
I felt like changing it up.
What?
Yeah, there are other things that you align with the season.
Okay.
Season, and maybe even a holiday, right? Like, so there was something that we did, I believe, for Valentine's Day last year, but it was tied around the theme of love and relationships. So, you want to play off of the calendar, and that's another way, and just like a mini lesson there, but that's a great way for some people to get organized and like get themselves prepared from a projection standpoint. Tap into the calendar, man. That calendar is laid out with a lot of game and strategy already on it. So, yeah.
So they went in more and said, okay, I'm in the clothing business at the moment, only have a sweater. Way to go. Okay. I have sweater weather.
Look at you now.
Sweater.
Look at that. Let's go. Talk to me. Right.
Sweater weather.
Yeah.
All right, let me bring it back. So I'm not saying it no more. I just say I want to take
hoodie. Just say hoodie.
Anyways, I want to take that down and add spring and summer and bring that back in the fall and winter.
Yeah, and that's your Abladi. Shout out to your Abladi. He's in some of the classes that I get to teach with E at Lakewood. Yeah, Lakewood. That's what's up.
Hold on.
Royalty
in the building. I see you, Ink. I see you, Ink.
Absolutely. Salute to you as always. But yeah, your Abladi. I would say, man, if you are going to take them down, make sure that you have other products that can go up, right? Like, what was that? Welcome to the live show.
Welcome to the live show, people. We are here just breaking everything and not saying words right. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, but no, your Abladi, you just want to make sure you have other products. So like if your brand is only sweaters right now, it's difficult for you to take those down if you have nothing to go up. But you probably have, I don't know, depending on where you're at, maybe 2 or 3 weeks where, maybe even a little bit more than that, where hoodie. Go
ahead.
Hoodie. I need some water. Hoodie. Hoodie weather is going to still be accepted, So go out there and start thinking about, okay, what are some designs that I may be able to run up now? Can I get some hats? Can I design some t-shirts, right? Some pants, because Nikki is always like,
pants,
yo,
people, pants, okay? Pants
and shirts.
All right, pants and socks. All right, we are definitely all hoodied and shirts out. And shout out to Dre. We got hats. However, I need pants and socks, people. I need pants, but that's not the point.
So there you go, Bleeds. You got some more options to choose from. Thanks to Derek Butler, by the way. That's the whole concept right there. Automation, modernization, and revamp bundles and offers. Yep.
Facts.
That's it. That's it.
Derek. But to go back what you were saying, I think when it comes to the offers, I think we start with what we know and who we are. So meaning, when Moose was talking about like the lives that we do, right, as far as for the Extreme Execution Program, well, we have to think about our fearless leader, which is Dr. Eric Thomas. Hold on. Shout out to him. He's a whole extrovert and high flight attendant. And so, of course, he's going to want to talk to the people. So all the offers are going to be like, okay, you get me a little live, you get me all live, and you get me extremely live because I'm a live person, right? we offered, remember, we were like, yo, we should do like a pre-recorded thing. He's like, nah, live. They come for the lives, Nikki. They come for the lives, Moves. I was like, yeah, you're right. Okay, live all day, right? And then we realize we don't just only attract extroverts. We attract introverts too. And understanding that some of our audience wants to do it by themselves, just chilling. Like, I still want the information, but I don't really want to talk to you just yet. Let me get comfortable with what you're offering. Give me an entryway of seeing if this is for me. Now I see it's for me. Yeah, maybe I get into the community. Maybe, I could go to the meetups and things like that. Sometimes you gotta grow the people to where you want them to be with your offer, right? And sometimes we just say, here's the offer. That's it. No more. Come. We love you. No? I mean. So.
You said no?
But that's really, after a while, you get to really understand who else is being attracted to your brand, and you actually reconstruct some of the offers based off that. We always go with who we are. We always do content and different offers and products and services based off who we are, because we're creating it. But we have to sometimes be considerate that we are talking to people that are the opposite of us. So we have to cater if we are trying to retain them. We have to cater to kind of keep them as our tribe members. So we got to look at that sometimes. For us, we did, and we made a shift, and we clearly see the results of it based off, okay, here's something that you could watch on your own. Here's something you could chill with us. Here's something that you can come through, chill with us afterwards, have the after party, and you're good. So I think it happens like that. I don't know.
Yeah. No, it's good. It's a great opportunity to revamp your offers, man. Like, I think now more than ever, people are willing to invest in themselves, especially if you're in that personal, professional development space. Now more than ever, people see the importance of investing in self. Mm-hmm. But if it's the same way that you've done it the last 3 years, life is different today than it was 3 years ago. Life is different today than it was 18 months ago, even 6 months ago. So that just tells you the importance of, okay, how have I traditionally done business, even if it's worked for me?
Yeah.
How can I make some slight modifications or just revamp my offer so that I can show people that, hey, I'm with you. I feel your pain. I'm listening. I'm watching, and I'm making adjustments as needed so that I can still serve the people as best as I can, or to the best of our ability. So that's one of the ways that you can clearly communicate that. And then again, on the back end, the data will tell you, did you hit the mark or did you strike out? Because at first, when we put it out, we were like, oh, this might be a throwaway offer. This might be just a way to get people to go into another bucket.
Yeah.
But quite frankly, it got so much juice that it's now worth going back and saying, okay, how can we upgrade that experience and put even more attention and more resources behind it so that all of those people that are going and taking that self-paced route, they too can feel, right, like they have their question answered. Maybe that's another segment we can add to it. So, and I'm just giving you references from what we are doing, but, you would just have to apply it or switch the context based on how you do business on a day-to-day basis.
Adaptability is the currency of marketing.
Okay, see you, Ray.
See you with the bars. All right.
We're gonna take that and add it to the Twitter draft.
Put that in the draft. Put that in the draft. All right.
Twitter drafts too.
Listen, I'm gonna go with. I know we're coming up on time, but I want to go over one more trend as far as social media, and we've kind of spoken about this 17 million times, but I really want to drill it into people, which is ownership. Ownership of your content, ownership of your brand, right? And not only giving our all to our platforms, but creating our own platforms and creating a way for our supporters, our tribe members, our community to take it to the next level and invest or just support, right? So what I mean by that is as we're seeing some of the latest trends with this whole Patreon, buy me a coffee, certain memberships like how Mighty Networks, YouTube has a subscription, Twitter is about to do a subscription, Facebook has a subscription. There's a subscription for everything, right? And we have to start thinking about, okay, I give you so much on social media, but how can I get you off social media to a paying kind of tier? So you can either get to the next level or I get the funds to continue to do this, right? Whatever your reason is. And it could be a lot sooner than you think. You don't necessarily need thousands and thousands of followers to finally monetize your brand, your content, and put people in different tiers of what you're trying to do, right? It really can start off when you have probably like 1,000 followers, to be honest with you, if you're playing your cards right, if you're doing it in a very organic and genuine way. Now, if you're going straight off the bat and buying ads and stuff like that, I mean, your followers can be a little bit questionable, but the more that you pay into it, right, the more you can get conversions from that way. But have you really tested out what you can do without ads, right? But that's a whole nother topic. But at the same time, we have to look at the different levels of that we're in for our following. If we're at 1,000, right, how have we at least kind of directed our following to be monetized? If we have a podcast, shameless plug, Nicky and Moose, if you haven't heard this episode, go and listen to episode 25. But if you have a podcast, I don't care if you have 2 listeners, have you set it up to where you're able to monetize it, whether it's affiliate marketing, whether it's your own products and services that you're adding into it, kind of like a shameless plug, right? There's different things we can do to make sure our content and our brand is being monetized and we keep what we're putting out. That what we're putting out, we see a return in the investment, and we're not just giving these platforms everything just for exposure. Exposure does not necessarily always equal up to money, doesn't always equal up to impact, doesn't always equal up to people honestly becoming our tribe members. It just means we're out there. We're out on the block. Hello, look at me. Hey, look at what I do. Not everybody sees that. They have a chance to see it, but it's not that way. So at what point are you going to be like, okay, it's time to take my members, my tribe members, to a membership platform. It's finally time to put them to something where they get a community, where they get exclusive content, where they get early access and discounts that nobody else gets. How are you making the people who've been rocking with you feel special, as well as have full control of what they see and what they don't? Because we don't have control in that. If we put it on these platforms, we kind of put it up in the air and pray that the algorithm doesn't hit us wrong today. So I'm real big on what is the steps to get full ownership of your brand, full ownership of your content, and taking them off the free and have not really full control of what they see and what they don't, to then us creating a platform where they see the content we want them to see, and there's no copyrights we have to worry about. There's no worrying about people ripping our stuff off or anything like that, or not getting paid what we're truly worth, because a stream could be a 0.1 something when we've put hours into our content. So ownership would be my last trend, because we're seeing a lot more of that. And I don't know if people are really picking up on that. Yo, shout out to Vaughn. Okay, Vaughn. Okay. Tax season hit.
It.
Tax season.
That's a business move right there.
I see you, Vaughn.
Right, see you with the hashtag Don't Die Broke. Let's go.
Okay. All right,
man,
listen.
Check out Vaughn, man. Straight out of Harlem,
Vaughn
New
is
York,
super dope. I love her to death. Shout out to shout out to. Hold on, let me give some shout outs real quick. Omar, I see you. Blind guy, his wife, and their life. I see you with the super chat. But Moose, what do you think about what I said? I know we a little over, but
it's hey, listen, and I think the another way that I can summarize that, businesses and brands need to think about how they can go direct to consumer. That's the ownership play right now. Like, for some of us, sometimes, like it really resonates with me when you said, virtual content creators, brands, service providers, to a degree, they sell air. Yeah. You're just like, that's what you do. So that resonates with me. So sometimes even the creator starts to think like, man, well, it's not that serious. No, it is serious. And the way you can own your thing is by going straight to the consumer, right? So like you said, when you have to rely on the platform or the algorithm to show your stuff to all, your followers or the people who rock with you, you're kind of still playing the lotto somewhat. Mm-hmm. Part of your thought process needs to say, all right, well, how do I go direct to consumer here? Is it an email list? Is it like, what is it? Is it, a text messaging app? How can I make sure that if I need to, an emergency case scenario, I can go directly to my people and I don't have to worry about no one interrupting or not showing it, but they definitely get the message. Now, whether they open or not, whatever, that's a different story. You can worry about that at a different time, but the most effective ways to direct to consumer are literally methods of ownership today.
That's all I gotta say. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Came out swinging today. That was good.
A little bit. Look, shout out to everybody who was watching. For real. We appreciate that you always come every Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central, 5 p.m. West Coast time. We appreciate the hour and some change that you spend with us, right? Episode 25 is out. All right. Actually, hold on. Let me look at this calendar real quick. Let me look at this calendar and make sure. Yeah, okay. So next week, I could tell y'all what we're talking about. Next week is the anniversary of Nip's passing, and so you see it. So you know that the whole episode is going to be about Nipsey Hussle. It's one of the most requested episodes based off our past lives and everything like that. So we definitely going to put an extra spice on it and some new lessons to it. Revamp a little bit of the old, but this one is going to be fuego because I'm feeling it. Shout out to Ashley with the super chat. We see you, Ashley. And Felicia, look at her. Look. I like the little side look. I want to take a picture like that.
I love it.
Anyways, we are out. Share this with your people. Share the episode. Leave a review. Listen. Okay, hold on. This is a plead. Okay, this is a definite plead. Okay, because of y'all, we have been on the charts several times. Right? I'm going to continue to ask for reviews for our podcast. I don't care if you've done it before. Right? I don't care if you've done it before. Do it again this week. Every week we need new reviews to tell us, for one, feedback-wise, and two, to help us to get on the charts. So we would appreciate if you left us a review. You know I do review of the week every single week anyways, and I may mess it up and I may not. I'm doing good, Moose. I'm doing good. I'm reading better. You know, I got to read out loud. So I'm reading better. You know what I mean? I'm pronouncing all my words. I'm getting it. And I'm not picking the ones that have super long, what's the word? What's the thing? I don't pick long words. You know what I
know what you mean.
Anyways, love you guys. We will see you next week. Full episode of episode 25 drops tomorrow at 8 p.m. It's going to be a whole vibe. We love you. You already know what we're going to say. Aha!